Hello everyone!
Hi guys, welcome back to our Philippines journey, episode number
Number
4.
4.
So things are starting to get interesting. So this video is going to be about the actual day we left the United States for the Philippines.
Yeah.
It was a big day. A lot of build up to that actual day. You know, back 10 years previous to that day, it was just a discussion.
Yeah.
Call it a small dream that built up over time. And we really did the best we could do with executing our plan and all the things that we needed to do in preparation of leaving the United States and moving to the Philippines. So the best way for us to explain it is we were sad and happy at the exact same time.
It was a mixed emotion.
Very much mixed emotions. And Wilma and I talked through it a lot as we got closer and closer. And as we got closer to the actual day, it just seems like the weeks and the days just flew by.
Yeah.
There was just not enough time because we were winding down our careers. And then all the the parties, get-togethers that entailed for both Wilma and myself, and then those last-minute preparations. We still had one car at that point.
Yeah.
We both retired officially 30 days before our flight. We had our flight booked several months in advance, and we said, once we retired, we didn't want to stay in the U.S. too long. And we picked 30 days.
Yeah.
Because we thought that was enough to wrap up anything we needed to take care of, and then go around and visit family and friends. So that last month was
busy.
It was just so busy. And think about it, you still have belongings. So what Will and I did was we shipped 35 Balikbayan boxes from the U.S. to the Philippines. And we got the majority of the things that we wanted to ship here in 32. So the initial shipment was probably 30 days before we left the country. We shipped 32 boxes. And then we knew we were going to have a few more because we still had clothes and, an alarm clock and, just certain things. And we had our luggage and we had our carry-ons that, we brought a lot of things as well. But there was still some additional items. So literally like 24 hours before we actually left the country, we packed up the last 3 Balikbayan boxes and got them shipped out. And believe it or not, we talked about, leasing cars and turning in cars. Wilma's lease we turned in 24 hours before we actually flew. So we did have transportation. My truck I turned in several months before. So that was a challenge as well. So, we're getting busy, we're doing this and doing that, packing, shipping, saying goodbye to people dropping over the house. We were going to other people's homes. We're going through our checklist, making sure that we didn't forget anything. Packing. Everybody wants to go out to dinner with you the last few nights.
Yeah.
So we're having, dinners out with family and friends. The actual day just came so fast, and there was so many mixed emotions during that time.
Plus it was during the pandemic, so there were extra things that we had to prepare, like
the e-travel documents,
e-pass, trespass, and all these QR codes that we needed it, and for the quarantine.
Yeah, we had to quarantine at that time because tourism, when we retired to the Philippines, tourism was closed. And they just started allowing Balikbayan visas, meaning someone married to a Philippine citizen. So the Philippine citizen could go to the Philippines and the spouse of a Philippine citizen. That was it. No other tourism was allowed. So everything was really locked down and difficult. I can remember not only did we have to wear a mask 4-hour, 16-hour flight from JFK. We had to wear a shield.
Yeah.
Double trouble. And that was horrendous.
And the stewardess, they were wearing like a hazmat suit.
They all had, yeah. They looked like they were a surgeon.
Yeah.
From head to toe. Just, call it a little ridiculous in my opinion. But completely covered with booties and a complete gown. And as well as a mask and a shield. And all the passengers with masks and shields. So it was definitely challenging.
It was.
You're sitting in a plane, getting ready to leave, breathing in and out. Your shield is fogging up, and we're saying we have to sit like this for 16 hours. So that was definitely a challenge.
Tough.
It was
Yeah.
definitely tough. So, leading up to the day, again, mixed emotions. So now the day of, we get up nice and early. We had a ride to the airport. My sister and her significant other, Jim, drove us to the airport. We're saying goodbye to family and friends. So, that half of the morning was emotional.
Emotional, yes.
And a little bit of the unknown. You always second guess yourself. I guess, that's the devil on your shoulder saying, are you making the right decision?
Yeah.
Yes or no? It was a 10-year plan. We put so much effort into it. But we were still, obviously emotional. But then at the exact same time, your mind switches and says, but look where you're going to. No more rat race, no more work. You shed yourself of, all your belongings. You made a plan that we felt was an excellent plan.
Yeah.
We have so much to look forward to. The sky's the limit. So we were bouncing back and forth. That's the best way to explain it between those two emotions. When we actually left the residence in New York, that was rough.
It was very rough.
Saying goodbye.
Yeah.
And then as we're driving to the airport, we both said it to each other. We had a pit in our stomach.
Yes.
Just saying, wow, this is for real.
This is it.
And then we kept saying to ourselves, well, we can always take a trip back. It's not like we're going to jail.
Yeah.
We're trying to be as positive as possible. But we spent, I spent my whole life in the U.S. and Wilma 28 years. So, it's hard. You have deep roots and, you're upping those roots and moving to another country. It's a little scary. And I think a lot of people that are listening to this video could be in that same boat saying, I would like to do that, but I'm just not sure. I'd like to stay into my comfort zone. People normally don't like getting out of their comfort zone. I have my home, I have my job, I have my friends in the U.S., and I don't want to change that. I can understand that because it is, I think you can use the word scary, moving to a foreign land. Not foreign for Wilma, that's where she was born and raised, but definitely foreign for me. So those emotions was there.
Yeah.
But then once we got to the airport and got through the line, and now we said our final goodbyes, and that was emotional. That last look as you're walking into the airport and you're taking a sneak peek at your family members driving away. That's not easy. So we got through that. Got to the gate, and then things started to change.
Yeah.
We call it transitioned up to excitement. Now, we're still worried about the 10-day quarantine because back at that time, we had to quarantine in Manoa for 10 days, and we didn't know what that was going to be like.
Yeah.
And we had a 16-hour flight ahead of us. And then knowing that, with all the checks and QR codes, like Wilma said, with COVID, that was challenging within itself. But we got to the Philippines, and now we're starting to build up the excitement. Got to the hotel. The hotel was very nice.
Yes.
I think we did our homework there because what I did when I was booking the hotel room, most hotels will show how many square meters or how big the room is. And most of them are like 30, 40 square meters. And then I found a few suites that was like 80 or 90 square meters. So I booked our room that was 90 square meters.
Yeah.
So I had a full living room with like a 50-inch flat screen, full kitchen, washer, dryer, refrigerator, complete kitchen, a bedroom with another, I think, like 40-inch TV in it. So we had separate TVs, through the 10 days. It was a really nice room. No balcony, which was tough, but good views, and we got through the quarantine.
We got through.
Yeah, a little bit of a challenge, but we got through it. But what we had to do is the food, I wasn't very happy with the food because, again, it was during the pandemic. So not only did you book the room for 10 days, we booked the food for 10 days. So they would actually deliver the food, knock on the door, and literally run from down the hallway. So I said, because they would knock on the door, I have nothing to do. I may be just sitting there. Oh, the food's here, and it takes me 8 seconds to get to the door. I open up the door, and I look out, there's nobody in the hallway. I'm like, how did the person, disappear in 8 seconds?
You run so fast.
So I said, tomorrow I'm going to time it because they would deliver about the same time. So I was close to the door. And when he rang the bell to drop off the food, because there was a little table outside the room, I opened the door within 1 second, and you just seen his face. Because, again, he was dressed, like a hazmat suit with a mask and a shield, and his eyes got that big, as I opened the door, because the Philippines was, I think, a little over the top with all the safety features that they put in. It was definitely challenging. I can remember when we landed in Manila, we were kind of herded like cattle, and we had to go through the process, and we actually had to pay for our swab test for the hotel room, which was on day 7 of 10 at the airport. And just lining up, and the way they try to keep everybody separate, and everybody in hazmat suits, we're just sitting there shaking our head saying, wow,
it was like
really
we are different planets.
It's like a different planet. So we finally got escorted. We couldn't take a taxi.
No.
You had to get picked up by the hotel's staff in their van. That was the requirements. You could not leave the airport.
No.
We saw the military at the airport with their either AKs or M16s standing there in full camouflage, making sure that you didn't try to take a mad dash from the airport. You had to be escorted to the van. And then when we got into the van, we had 2 cell phones, but they were still our New York
SIM cards.
They were both Verizon, and we knew that it wasn't going to work, or if we got the global plan, it was very expensive. So we needed 2 SIM cards. So we told the driver, can you please just stop off at a little store, and we want to pick up 2 SIM cards. And he said, no, sir, we cannot take any detours whatsoever. I have to drive you straight from the airport, straight to the hotel, which was only a 10-minute ride from Manila Airport. And he says, we cannot take any detours. I said, well, I have 500 pesos here, which is $10 US, which is basically 2 days pay for him, more than likely, or close to 2 days pay. I said, we need 2 SIM cards. He says, okay, sir, we will pull over, no problem. However, I'll go in and get the SIM card. They wouldn't let us out of the van. I said, that's fine. So the SIM cards are only 50 pesos each, $1. So we gave him the $2, we gave him the $10 so-called bribe. In he went, came out with the SIM cards, and we had the SIM cards because we wanted to be able to, get the SIM cards in our phones, get them activated, get load on them so we could make phone calls within the Philippines, because we needed to contact her family to let them know that we're in Manila and how many days, so we could communicate. So that was pretty important to have that. What we didn't know, it took us a couple days in, is the food was not good. I mean, for breakfast it was dried fish and rice.
Yeah.
For lunch it was some type of like corned beef, looked like dog food, and rice. For dinner it was a little better.
Rice 3 times a day.
Rice 3 times a day.
Pork, chicken, but
yeah,
it was
pork
rice
and
all
chicken,
the time.
but rice.
Yeah.
Nothing else. So I kind of complained, but they were like, "That's the meal plan that you purchased. Can I get any upgrades?" No. So what I found out is Food Panda and/or Grab. We happen to use Food Panda. Would deliver to the hotel during the pandemic. Again, little things that you don't know. So I went online, downloaded the Food Panda app, inserted my credit card, got it all approved. Had to, scan my passport and things like that. They wanted to do a face-to-face time.
Yeah.
With their safety checks, because they wanted to see that the photo on the passport that I scanned to them, that uploaded into the app, actually matched my face when we had a live-to-live chat. And once all those checks were through, we were good to go. And then, the world suddenly got better. I found out we could order basically anything, because we're in Manila. So I was ordering ice cream,
Dairy Queen,
Wendy's,
yes.
Burger King,
McDonald's,
KFC, McDonald's, Domino's, everything. Pizza Hut.
Yeah, Pizza Hut.
We're ordering fresh hot bread every day.
Yeah.
Being delivered, and they wouldn't deliver to the room. They would deliver to the front desk.
Yeah.
But the front desk was very accommodating, and they would run it up right away within minutes. It'd be right at the door. So all of a sudden, I was ordering up, and I was going from dried fish and rice to having anything that I wanted. Yeah. So we learned that like day 2 or 3. But we got through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Finally got out. Spent some time with her brother and family in Manila. Got a room overnight. We booked our flight from Manila to Tacloban, which is the main airport in Leyte, because we needed to take that trip to her house in Palompo. So we took care of that, booked all the tickets, finally got swabbed day 7. We were both negative. We could leave the morning of the 10th, and they had military at the hotel as well, in the lobby. They had military at the front door with their M16s in full military garb. So you weren't escaping.
Yeah, we were like a prisoner.
We
for
were
10
a prisoner.
Days.
They made it very clear, do not come out of the room.
Yeah, they don't give us keys.
No, we had no keys anyway. I'm going to prop the door open. But we said, can we walk in the hallway?
No.
Absolutely not. You have to stay in your room for the 10 days. So we were happy that we got a 90 square meter room.
A big room.
Imagine just a little tiny little room. I mean, we'd be divorced by the time the 10 days was up.
And we had 2 TVs.
Two TVs. And what saved us also, the Amazon sticks?
Yeah.
We had our own Wi-Fi in the room because it is sketchy sometimes with hotels where they have Wi-Fi or they advertise they have Wi-Fi, but it may be in the hallway down at the other end by the elevator, and you get 1 megabyte and it's basically worthless. Can you imagine not having TV? So we had our Wi-Fi router within the room, had excellent Wi-Fi.
That was good. So
we got lucky there, and we had 2 Wi-Fi sticks, the Amazon sticks, that we plugged into both of the TVs, and we had everything. We had Netflix, Hulu, YouTube. We had everything at our fingertips. So we did an awful lot of watching series. We would pick something with 10 seasons and just start watching that. And what we also did was we FaceTime our family basically nightly.
Yeah.
So thank you, especially Gwen and Jim. We did a lot of FaceTime every day. So that killed an hour while we did that. So that worked out pretty good. So we got through it, got our tickets, spent one night in Manila, flew to Tacloban, and then the best way for me to explain how I felt when we got to Tacloban You know the Tom Hanks movie Castaway? When at the very end of the movie, he's back in the United States and he's driving his car and he gets to the four corners and he parks his car with his map and gets out of the car, puts the map on the hood and sees where he is. He orientates himself on the map and he basically says to himself, not in the movie verbally, but just in his mind, he basically says, I'm at a crossroads. I can go anywhere I want because I have the time. So that's how we felt, or that's how I felt, that we could do anything we wanted. We weren't tied to anything at that point. We had no longer a job to go to. All the worries, the stress of lots of bills. We were debt free at the time. We didn't have anything real assets left, a few things, but very few things left in the U.S. of the material nature. We were really free and clear.
Yeah.
And we talked about it all the time, where we could do anything, say anything, go anywhere, do whatever we wanted at any time. We could sleep to noon every day. We could go out to dinner every night. We could stay at home. We could stay up as late as we wanted. Really, the sky was the limit. And at that point, I think we both thought, we are officially kicked off our retirement.
Yeah.
We knew we had a lot of work ahead of us because we still had the goal of spending a year in Leyte. We still knew that we were going to go out and buy land because we pretty much made the decision that we weren't going to just add on to Wilma's home in Leyte. We were going to buy a piece of land and build. We knew we wanted to travel around. We knew we had a lot of things that we needed to do. Not to mention, buy a vehicle, buy a scooter. We had to furnish and buy things. We knew we were going to be busy.
Yeah.
And that's going to be our next video of how we planned out and got set up in the Philippines. But really, we wanted just to discuss, the day of and that transition period of leaving the U.S. and actually getting to the Philippines and how we felt that we were completely free and clear and we could do whatever we wanted when we wanted.